Hey everybody, Draco the Juggler here, and in this video, I'm going to be teaching you how to do the cat's cradle. So the cat's cradle, also known as the bridge, is probably one of the first few string shapes that you're going to learn as a beginner Diabolo player. It's not that hard to learn if you already know how to do some other prerequisite tricks, such as knowing how to do the dog jumps over the fence, knowing how to do the trapeze, also even knowing how to do the swinging trapeze on both sides, are prerequisite tricks that you want to know how to do before you actually start learning the cat's cradle. Another thing you should also learn before doing the cat's cradle is you should be good at tilting the corrections, and you should also be good enough at getting the Diabolo spinning fast enough so that you can at least have the Diabolo spinning on the string without moving your hands for at least 5 or 10 seconds. This will give you enough time to set up doing the cat's cradle because you want to have enough time with the spin to get in and out of the string wrap. So before we actually learn the cat's cradle, let's actually walk through it without the Diabolo first. One way to actually get into the cat's cradle with the string shape, what we're going to do is we're going to put the left hand stick over the right hand and then put the stick through the string, and you're going to end up in an X, which looks like this. This is the simplest version of the cat's cradle. There are other versions where it has double and triple X, but we're going to learn the single X today. And what you want to do when you get into the cat's cradle is there's going to be a point where you're going to hold the stick like this, kind of like you're holding a pizza box. And when you want to toss the Diabolo and get actually into the cat's cradle, you're going to toss it up, and it's kind of like you're reading a book now. So initially you're going to be holding the pizza box and then toss it like you're reading a book. From here you can catch the Diabolo and keep it there, or you could bounce it up and down, which looks a little bit nicer. Alright, so now that you have the prerequisites for this trick, let's learn how to get into the cat's cradle. Let's first learn how to use a trapeze to get into the cat's cradle. I'm going to get my Diabolo spinning on the string. And first, I'm going to use a wrapped orbit acceleration to get the Diabolo spinning fast enough. Once I unwrap the Diabolo, I should have enough spin to get into the cat's cradle now. I'm going to get into a left-handed trapeze, and notice how the left-handed trapeze, there's a loop on the stick. I'm going to put the other stick in that loop, open up the loop, and I don't want to open up the loop too much. I want to open up the loop so it has a little bit of slack. With the loop opened up, I'm going to toss up the Diabolo in the air and point the X upwards. To get out of the cat's cradle, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put both sticks inwards and drop the string from the sticks, which ends up into an open string. One reason why I like to use the left-handed trapeze is because I can continue to add spin to the Diabolo, and I could continue to correct the Diabolo if it starts to tilt off. One of the most important things to doing the cat's cradle is to make sure that the string is lined up and the Diabolo is tilted properly, because if you start the cat's cradle with a little bit of spin, a little bit of tilt, you're going to run into issues and not enough time when it comes to actually getting into the cat's cradle. Here's a side view perspective of me getting into the cat's cradle. I'm going to first get some spin. With enough spin, I'm going to do a left-handed trapeze. I'm going to put the right-handed stick through the left-handed loop and open the loop. Like I'm holding a pizza box, I'm going to toss the Diabolo in the air, and like I'm reading a book, I'm going to catch the Diabolo on top of the string. If I want to make the cat's cradle look a little bit nicer, I'm going to jump up and down by pushing my wrist inwards and pulling my wrist out. To get out of the cat's cradle, I'm just going to put both sticks towards the middle and drop the Diabolo so the wrap comes off the sticks. Let's now learn how to do the cat's cradle by getting into it from a Darkside catch. The Darkside catch is where you toss the Diabolo and you catch it on the bottom side of the string. So if you cross your hands, the Diabolo is down crossed. So before we get into the cat's cradle, let's first start by getting our Diabolo spinning fast enough. We're going to get into Darkside with the string. I'm going to switch hands, putting my left hand in front of my right hand, and then my right hand is going to go underneath the string, and the left hand is going to go through the string, and I'm going to end up with the Diabolo on the bottom of the string and then an X on the top. To get into the cat's cradle, all you have to do is just toss the bottom to the top. Another way, like I was saying, is to get into the Darkside by doing a toss and catching it on the underside of the string. Put the right-handed stick on the string and then put the left-handed stick through the loop this time. You're going to make the X on top, and the Diabolo is going to be on the bottom string. Just toss from the bottom string to the top of the string to get into the cat's cradle. I find that getting into the cat's cradle from the Darkside may be a little easier for beginners because the string doesn't get caught when you try to toss it on top. Sometimes I see when people try to use the cat's cradle from a trapeze, they pull the trapeze too far apart and they get caught on the string when they try to toss it up, which may be an issue you may run into. So use whatever method works better for you. Don't forget that if you're in the cat's cradle, you can still correct the tilt of the Diabolo by putting that dominant hand forward or backwards to tilt it forward and backwards to keep it balanced on the string. Now that you know how to do the cat's cradle, let's try to learn how to do some fun variations with it. So if you know how to do this already, and to get the cat's cradle on top, try to see if you can bounce the cat's cradle on top of the string, which makes it look a little bit nicer because you can actually see the string more with every bounce. If you can do a bounce, you can actually do cool stuff like you can cross and uncross your hands, which makes it look even cooler.
Only now. There is no past, only now.
Alright, thank you so much again for watching this video. I hope it helped you to learn how to do the cat's cradle. Before we actually say goodbye, I want to give a few thanks to my Patreon subscribers and my Twitch supporters. Thank you so much for supporting me on Patreon, and thank you so much for subscribing to me on Twitch. Your support really means a lot to me, and it really helps me to improve my videos and give you better content and quality videos. If you want to support me, I have a Patreon linked below, and I also live stream on Twitch as well, which is linked below as well. Thank you so much again. And another thanks I want to give a shout out to is Jason Masoud for making the custom music for this tutorial video. Everybody, thank you so much, and I'll see you next time, and good luck practicing.